Some of you are here on Zoom, others on Instagram Live and Facebook Live. Welcome. For those of you that know IDW Display, you know that the company is committed to having industry-leading design and manufacturing, which is also backed by its commitment to run a sustainable business model, which seeks to provide its customers with 100% recyclable products made from 100% sustainably sourced materials. Operating from its 65,000 square foot facility in Europe, the company also offers global scale through its strategic partners around the world, including all throughout Europe, North and South America, Asia, and Africa. We are absolutely thrilled to have today's speaker, Bob Volpe, Global Director of Sales and Marketing at IDW Display. We've known Bob for many years now, and even though he formally goes by Roberto, for us, he's Bob, and he's also one of the world's experts in mannequins. We here at WindowsWear have always had a special relationship with the world's mannequin brands. Since many of our images, no matter if they're featuring a window display, an interior, a pop-up, an e-commerce site, a social media post, also features some form of mannequin. And in today's world, with everything being digitized, everything that we photograph and capture will also be shoppable. And therefore, everything and everyone, including you and I, will also be mannequins. Mannequins are all around us, communicating different styles and outfits and inspiring us to what we should wear and how to wear it. Bob has worked in the industry for many years, and I remember the day that he went to IDW Display just about a year ago. And he started talking to me and us about the company and their approach. And we all know that there's a huge behind the scenes industry in the world of mannequins. And we're here very excited to have Bob share with you more today about IDW Display. And we'll also save the Q&A at the end of the presentation. You can either speak it if you're on Zoom or chat it if you're on Instagram Live or Facebook Live, and we'll feed it to Bob so he can answer it. Bob, I'll give you the floor from here.
Thank you very much, John. And thank you for introducing IDW so well. I feel like I don't need to say anything else now. You said it all. Welcome everybody from a very wet UK. It's a pleasure to be sat here with you all, talking through hopefully something that will interest you all. I've got a little bit of an agenda which basically should keep you enthralled for a little while. We'll see how many people click off if you get bored. But let me just start saying that IDW are a European-based mannequin manufacturer. We do not buy from China. We do not manufacture in China. Our business model is very different to most other mannequin suppliers. And our philosophy and the way that we like to work with our partners and with our customers is very different as well. IDW was established in Lithuania, in Vilnius, which is in Eastern Europe, in 1997. It's recently gone through a buyout just over 18 months ago. And the new management there were the ones that came, told me about their vision and what they wanted to do and got me all excited about being part of this. I do hope, can I just say, I do hope you can understand me. I'm trying ever so hard to speak the Queen's English in a much slower format than I would normally do. But it's a case of, if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them at the end. So we were established in '97 in Vilnius, and we work for many of the industry's global brands. So our biggest customers are brands like H&M, Chanel, Alexander McQueen, Puma. In America, we've done work with Saks, with Neiman Marcus, we've done work with Macy's. In the UK, if you know the UK market, then we've done a lot of work with the likes of Next and River Island and Debenhams. Historically, we've done work with Adidas and with Tommy Hilfiger. So we've got a lot of experience of blue chip pedigree customers. And not only have we supplied standard products to them, we've also supplied bespoke mannequins to them. We were one of the first mannequin companies to really go down the bespoke route. What I'd like to try and do now, if I can, is I'd like to share my screen and just show you a little corporate video. It'll give you a 3-minute summation of what IDW is all about, tell you a little bit about us, and then I'll go and follow that up with a little bit more information. So if you can bear with me while I actually get the video up for you. And this tells you a little bit about IDW.
Welcome to IDW. This is where we design, modify, and produce mannequins and display products. Our mannequins are special because they make our customers' products and brands shine brighter while still being environmentally friendly. Here, you'll discover a unique marriage of craftsmanship, new modern technology, and bright creative ideas. The creative studio and production facilities are all located in one hub, making the work between us and our customers more efficient, faster, and of higher quality. 16 dedicated and talented sculptors work passionately to make ideas come to life, together with our energized team that produce more than 100,000 mannequins per year. Our customers know that our designs are great, the quality will always be high, and most importantly, our mannequins and display products are sustainable and recyclable. IDW Display can produce either in small batches or bulk quantities to ensure that our customers save on transport and storage costs. Our mannequins and visual merchandising aids are always developed and tailor-made to fit our customers' brand, campaigns, and needs. From concept to production, we ensure that the brands themselves are central to everything we deliver on. This adds value to their in-store and window environments. Our heritage is in Vilnius, the heart of Lithuania. It's a modern and international city with a vibrant nightlife. We deliver on our promises and add value at every point we can. Our long-term relationships with our customers are a reflection of our openness and honesty. Welcome to Vilnius, our facilities and inspirational showroom. Here, you'll follow your projects and experience our passion for brands, mannequins, and visual merchandising solutions. Welcome to IDW, creating mannequins with sustainability in their hearts.
So that gives you a little bit of a backdrop on what IDW is all about and where we come. So now I'd like to drop into it a little bit more. We'll start talking about why we don't work with China. It's not that we don't like China, it's just that we can manufacture and we can do everything from a local supply base across Europe. We find that means that our reaction times are quicker. It means that we can talk the local language. It means that our quality is higher because we can concentrate on the quality process and the quality control process. And it just means that we can react much quicker to what our customers and our actually want. We can make changes very, very quickly because we've got a team of 16 designers and sculptors. And all of this is in one facility. So when we start to look at and we talk about the business model that we have, which is design, develop, mold, make, finish, and ship, we can do that in a 6,500 square meter facility. Now that's a 65, I think John mentioned it as 65,000 square feet. I'm not that good with metric to imperial. But just to show you what we've got, I mean, our design and development department is 16 people. We can react very, very quickly by making models and prototypes for customers. Once we've got the molds, once we've got the prototype signed off, then our mold makers, and we've got 8 to 10 mold makers, can actually get to work on making the aluminium molds that we need to produce our mannequins. If people know the difference out there, we don't make our mannequins through fiberglass. We use polystyrene, and it's a blow molded process. And the blow molded process actually means that we inject air into an aluminium mold, high pressure air into an aluminium mold that then blows out the actual plastic, and that takes the shape of the mold. We do all that internally, so we can manage timelines. Not only then, so we've got a capacity of around about 100,000 pieces a year. So we've got 350 people that can work within the factory. So we're not a small outfit, and we're comparable with any Chinese factory when we start looking at scale. We also finish everything internally. So we paint and we sand and we paint, and we create new finishes, which are transparent and infused color, all inside or on site. And then what we have is a good logistics department. So not only do we pack using recycled materials, we also then export and load and ship from one site. So everything is managed centrally. It just means there's a much more seamless process. And what we found is that our customers, especially our global customers, are very, very happy in the fact that they can do that. With us being in Europe and with it being our own factory, we welcome people to come and visit us. We have a big showroom there. But it just gives people the feel, and it shows the quality of people that we've got working for us. We've got people that have been there for 20 to 30 years. They've got a huge amount of experience, and they are core to everything that we do. Our sculptors are classically trained. Our mold makers are technicians. And even the people that sand our mannequins have to undergo a 6-week training course to make sure that they understand the processes that we're going through. So we've talked about what we are as a factory, but the thing that's core to our business is sustainability and recyclability. There are many, many people out there at the moment, especially our peers and our competitors, that all say they do the same thing. They all say they're recyclable. They all say they're sustainable. There are very, very few that can actually show you or are prepared to show you exactly how they are. So what we try and do is we work with our suppliers. So we buy our polystyrene through BASF and INEOS. We work very closely with INEOS to work with their biomass philosophy so that we can buy sustainable polystyrene when needed. Not everybody wants sustainable polystyrene, but most people want recyclable polystyrene. So everything that we manufacture is 100% recyclable. That goes from not only the mannequins themselves, but it's all the metal fittings, which we manufacture on site. So we can take all the scrap and all the waste that's produced through our mannequins and then reintroduce that into the manufacturing process, which means that we've got 100% recyclability across our product. In real terms, and a lot of people find it easier when you start talking about, we get asked a lot, can you make a mannequin from our mannequins? If you buy mannequins from us, then yes, we can take your own mannequins, we can grind them down, we can make your new mannequins. It's as simple as that. Everything is 100% recyclable. So it's a 360 site, there's a 360 circle that works in the process that we work with. We use water-based paints. So this echoes the philosophy that we have, and we basically make sure that what we do is environmentally friendly. As I've said before, our packaging has recently been upgraded. All the bubble wrap that we use and all the filler that we use in our boxes is all recycled and recyclable. Our boxes are now FSC accredited. So we use recyclable and sustainable cardboard. So in real terms, the factory and the product is moving to try and be 100% recyclable as quickly as possible. It's something that surprises people. When they think of Eastern Europe, they tend to think of the old Russian regime and big men with big bellies drinking vodka and eating potatoes. It's a lot like that in Lithuania, if you know where to go. But the rest of it's really, really modern. So we tend to move away from that side, and we just basically have a wonderfully modern outlook on things. But our sustainability and recyclable ethos is not just in the products that we do. We understand that we owe society a huge, or we need to think about society really, really well. So what we've also started to do recently is we've started to partner with a company called Plastic Bank, and they're a social enterprise. So we think about social welfare. And what Plastic Bank do is they pay people in third world countries to collect ocean plastic. Now they basically go down to the oceans, they collect the plastic, it's sorted, And Plastic Bank will pay over the odds for the amount of plastic that these people can collect. That not only allows them to buy clothes, food, but it also helps them educate their children. So it's about driving for a better life. So we understand that using plastics isn't always ideal, but not only are we able to recycle our plastics, we're also able to basically work with different different parties to make sure that society doesn't have to suffer the consequences of single-use plastic. So we have a lot of new initiatives that are running through the business. Now this includes 3D. So any of you that are aware of mannequins or mannequin companies will have heard lots of people talking about 3D print and 3D mannequins and quick development. It's something as a business that we've been doing for years. We've been basically doing it for about, I don't know, 8 to 10 years. We work very, very quickly in that respect. So we've been bringing it into modern day. But what we do and what we marry very, very well with is we use our sculpting team and our 3D facilities to allow us to develop product quicker than most other companies. It means that we're making sure that the anatomy of our mannequins will actually work with your clothes. And for retailers, a mannequin is all about showing off your product. If it shows it off well, you'll sell more clothes. If it doesn't show it off well, then you'll struggle to sell what you're trying to show. So basically what we try and do is merge new technology with old technology, well, with old working practices. We don't like to get rid of things that work really well. And if we can marry them together, that's exactly what we do. The one stage that we've also got is not only are our mannequins, as I said before, 100% recyclable, we're now working with a partner company to make our polystyrene 100% biodegradable. So it's an American company. We're working very closely with them. It's an additive that we add into the manufacturing process so that when we extrude our plastic, we add the additive into it. And that means that when it's put into the ground in very specific conditions, it'll then start to biodegrade. We've got certification that basically complements this and can actually substantiate the claims that we're making. So when we start talking about plastic and recyclability, we can now start talking about plastic and biodegradability. The one thing that we had to do as a business, as I said right at the start, the business was bought 18 months ago. What we needed to do is bring our ranges into modern day. And we had a big initiative and a big push on trying to introduce new modern ranges. And if you go to the IDW page on WindowsWear, you'll start to see some of the ranges that we launched at Euroshop this year, which seems an awful long time ago with coronavirus going on, but it's only 3 months ago. And the initiative that we took was trying to be inclusive. So we looked at what was happening in the market and what our customers were asking for. So one of the ranges that we've put together is an inclusive range. It's about different cultures, it's about different skin tones, it's about Generation Z and the way that they work, it's how they live their life, it's how everybody, it doesn't matter what your sexual orientation, what your color, what your culture is, everybody is included. And they don't judge Generation Z so much. And what we're trying to do is we thought we'd launch a range which has been received very, very well by the market. We also introduced a new range which we call Lifestyle. Lifestyle is based loosely around the sporting mannequin. There are many competitors out there that have spent a lot of time developing sporting mannequins, but it's not all about having a big buff physique. When we started to look at it, it was all about what does somebody who's healthy, who goes to the gym, who has a good diet really look for? And it was all about being on the move. So what we did is we've designed a range that appeals to the lifestyle segment for retailers. So when you look at the people that like to do yoga, that go to the gym, that basically are always on the move, that are meeting their friends, lifestyle basically appeals to them. So again, it's a case of we've tried to take slightly different tracks. And the big range that we launched, which is probably a huge range when you look at the catalogs, is Puzzle 2. We had a range that had been received really, really well, which was called Puzzle. And we kept getting asked if there was an opportunity to take a half torso and make it into a full mannequin when needed, but also have a lot of different orientations on the way to being a full mannequin. So can we make it a 3/4 mannequin? Can we then make it a pair of legs? Can we put the torso on a pair of legs? Can we change the arms? Can we have wooden arms on it? Can we have standard arms on it? So what we then did is we developed something that gives you that flexibility. It's been well received. It's predominantly used with a fabric covering, but can be painted and comes with a range of different finishes. So we've got a really, really flexible product. Our philosophy on new ranges is exactly that. It's all about giving retailers flexibility, but it's more about giving them products that will help sell their products. It's not about us. We don't want you to notice our mannequins. We want basically people to notice your product. And what we have are mannequins that dress well, that are easy to change, and that actually do allow you to push your products really, really well, which is one of the reasons why we work so well and so long for a lot of our customers. So when we look at our biggest customer, which is H&M, we've had a very, very long relationship with H&M. We produce probably around about 50 to 60% of their mannequins on a global basis. And the relationship with them, which allows us to keep developing, they just keep developing new solutions, is one that we're now starting to use with a lot of our other customers. So when it came to Puma, Puma wanted a sporting mannequin range, and we started to develop poses that were specific for them. So what we try and do is listen well. We try and educate, because we're all about recyclability, and we're all about trying to basically make brands be, a lot of brands talk about sustainability and recyclability. We give them an opportunity to basically continue that in the way that they display. And what we more or less try and do is help them place their brand image central to the store. It's all about doing things for our customers. We like to listen, we like to deliver, and we then like to be able to help them grow and be successful over time. I think that's probably what I wanted to say. It's a case of I have a video of Plastic Bank, which is about 4 minutes long, which I think I'd like to show you because it just details a little bit more about what they do. And then if you're happy, I can take questions and answers afterwards. So that tells you a little bit about Plastic Bank. But the one great bit of news that's come out of our association with Plastic Bank is that Plastic Bank have found a way now to basically recycle high-grade polystyrene from some of the plastics that they're collecting. So we can actually buy back our polystyrene to make our mannequins from Plastic Bank as well. So it's a case of when we talk about recyclability in the full circle, we have that. We have proof of that. We try and live our life by that. It's what drives IDW, as well as the design, as well as the drive to make our customers happy. It's part and parcel of what we do.
Bob, I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. Is it possible to share the portfolio of images of some of the projects that you've worked on as well, just so we get an idea? I mean, obviously it's on our website, it's on your social media, or should we? I
have them on my computer here. I mean, the thing being, I posted them all on the website in the hope that we could get on the website. If I share my screen and go to the website, can I download it?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Let me try and do that then.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, as we're doing that, if anyone has any questions, you know, obviously we're open as well. So if anyone has any questions for Bob about IDW, I know some members of your team are also here, which is fantastic. Yeah, so Bob's just pulling up the WindowsWear profile on IDW, where you can see many of the different projects that they've worked on, which is great. So we've got Ted from Instagram. You know, as you were presenting, Bob, he had just mentioned that he admires the amazing concrete finishes that IDW does. Maybe do you mind talking a little bit more about the amazing concrete finishes that you guys do?
We have a whole host of amazing concrete finishes. The one thing that we do well as IDW is we like to keep trying to push the boundaries. Now that means that our concrete finishes become infused. So that an infused finish, we actually put colour into the polystyrene as we go through the manufacturing process, which allows us to then get different colours and different grades. So if people want a foundry grey, we add a little bit more grey into it. It's a very, very popular finish, is concrete. So we've come up with quite a lot of different ones. We were recently asked if we could come up with a yellower one or a whiter version of concrete, which is what we did. But the beauty of it being infused into the actual polystyrene means that if by chance you scratch your mannequin, you don't see it. And the reason you don't see it is because the colour is infused into the mannequin itself. So that allows you then to make sure that your mannequin's working harder for you. You're not going to lose anything. So if I go onto the project screen, can you see this?
Yeah, we can see it.
Hang on a minute, bear with me. So we have a whole range of different concrete finishes. The other things that we do is, as I said, it's a case of we can also infuse different colors into the polystyrene. So we can then, if you look at the Puma mannequins were developed with a specific finish as well. So they were developed to show the product to best effect. So we do things for replay jeans where we put a black infusion in. Puma has got a slight brown tinge to it. But we do a very nice, what we call Canada white, which is like a snow white finish. So we have lots and lots of different finishes that we can actually accomplish. So they're very, very clever. So if I show you some of the stuff that we've done for H&M, most people will recognize these. As I said, it's a case of we're very lucky to have them as a customer, and we're producing all year for H&M. As they need them, they call them off. We don't hold stock. We have a very, very good relationship with H&M, which allows us to basically look at their forward program and manufacture for site. So as we know what stores are coming along, we talk quite closely with them, and we manufacture for that particular store, but it's constant. They then come in, collect and ship out. So we have all the product ready for them to come in, collect and ship out. So it's a mutually beneficial arrangement because they don't have to warehouse anything. One of our newest customers is Alexander Mcqueen. So if you look at the hanging torsos here, they wanted something quite specific. It had to be high end. It had to be covered in a very specific fabric that had been sourced from Italy. It had to be able to work as a half torso, as well as a 3/4 torso, as well as an extended 3/4 torso. So the development of the actual torso for them was quite involved. It took the best part of 8 months because it was very, very size specific and they wanted to get everything to the right degree. So we work closely not only with their development team, but also with the head designer of the brand. The other one customer that you'll have seen a lot of mannequins around is Chanel. So we make all the mannequins for Chanel. But not only do we make all their mannequins, we make a lot of their display props. So we make a lot of hands, a lot of busts, a lot of heads, a lot of necks when it comes to their jewelry and watch displays. And they're going to be launching a new product shortly, and we did most of the props for that display. So if you look in the windows in about a month and a half's time, you should start to see, let's say, little props, and you'll start to see the things that we've also done for Chanel. But a bit like H&M, this isn't just a one-off project. Once we have a customer, we try and become part of their team. So with Chanel, who we've been working with for 5 or 6 years, we talk with them. We try and understand where their brand is moving. We try and understand what they want to do in relation to display. And we try and develop new solutions and new poses that allow them to do that. Chanel uses realistic mannequins. So the makeup is always on point. And if you ever see a made up Chanel mannequin, have a look at the eyes, because it's testament to the makeup artists that we employ on site. So not only do we do all our makeup on site, we also do all our own tailoring on site. So all the bust forms for Alexander Mcqueen are covered on site. So we know that the quality is right. We know that the product is going to be 100% correct before it goes out. And with Chanel, we know that the makeup is right. So we're forever developing wigs, makeup, and styles for Chanel. It just means that they're never having to stand still as a brand. They just keep moving. Some of the other portfolios, a new customer that we've just got is River Island in the UK. This is a window that they've done recently for Westfield. And they wanted a very simplistic mannequin. But what we've done is we've been able to take that, what they wanted, and make it work for them. So it's interesting times for us with them. It allows us to really start to move things in a new direction for them. Bear with us. If we look at Puma.
Oh, just scroll down. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
The Puma mannequins, again, were designed just for them. We spent a lot of time designing and developing the right type of mannequin for them. Let me just come away from that. Let me go back. Hang on. Let me go back to that. I'll go for, because if you're in New York and you go to the Fifth Avenue site, you'll see all our mannequins in there. That gives you a great taste of what Puma are trying to do. So it's a case of, let's have a look. Here we go. I love this shot. They wanted a very specific football mannequin, or soccer mannequin if you're from America, sorry. But it is football. So what we did is we created some really sort of dynamic football mannequins. But at the same time, they're going quite leisure, and they wanted something that didn't have to be overly sporty. So we developed a range of mannequins for them that allowed them to show their leisure wear. One little development that we did for Puma is a lot of mannequins don't have the facility to have flat feet. And when you're showing off sneakers or pumps, as I like to call them, it's a case of when you have a high heel, it's very difficult to show your sneaker off to best effect. So we developed a couple of ranges called Jean and Max, which have all got flat feet on the women. Puma loved it and are starting to introduce this into their ranges now. So it shows off their footwear to best effect. So the mannequins show off their clothes to best effect, and the footwear is shown off to best effect on the flat feet that we've introduced on them. And the one job that I quite liked was we talked a little bit about Jean, but we did a project for McLaren in the UK, where they've started to develop a dealership. And they introduced our mannequins simply because they had the class and the style that they were looking for. One of the projects that's on the site here, which would be quite good for you to have a look at, was one that we did in collaboration with a UK company, which is called Harlequin Design. They were doing the windows for Macy's, and they asked if we could basically help them come up with some Barbie mannequins. So with their direction and working together, we came up with some 2-meter high Barbies. And again, as a testament to the work that we do on site in Vilnius, all the mannequins were painted different skin tones. They had very specific Barbie makeup, and the wigs were all made by IDW on site. We talked a little bit about the new ranges that we have. If I show you inclusives, which we're very proud of because people have really, really warmed to the inclusives. It's all about having, as we said before, it's about body size. It's about having confidence in you as a person. It's about how you work with your fellow Gen Zs. It's about attitude. And what we try to do is develop a range that allows you to do that. All of these pictures are on the WindowsWear site. All our ranges and all our catalogs are downloadable from the IDW Display website. And the website is just simply idwdisplay.com. When we look at lifestyle, what you have are mannequins that really work together, well together. As we said, they're not overly sporty, but it's all about living a healthy lifestyle. It's how they actually work together. And finally, I'll just show you puzzle 2. And what's good about puzzle 2 is the way that you can start to play with different finishes. So we've used chrome, we've used fabric, we've used paint, we've put wooden arms on these. Everything works really, really well together. You can have a flat foot, you can have a heel, you can have an interchangeable heel. So we've really tried to think what people want. After talking to a lot of our customers, they wanted the flexibility. A lot of them are never really going to use it. But what they will do is have the flexibility to be able to add as and when they need it. So as you can see, it works suspended, it works from the floor, it works in the windows, it works in store. This is the extended 3/4. You have just the male 3/4 behind it. So it's really a case of it's a truly flexible system. The good point about that, we've talked about chroming, is we've also have a partner that does ecological chroming. So the chrome that we use is ecologically sourced. It's 99.9% chrome.
Bob, that was absolutely fantastic, and I think we all appreciate you going through your projects in more detail, and obviously it's a testament to the work that you guys do and everything that you described, and obviously it's very impressive, right? I mean, obviously from the extreme detail of the Chanel mannequins to the soccer/football Puma mannequins to the blow up Barbie mannequins in Macy's and Harlequin, which is also one of our members that hosted a WindowsWear Live about a month ago. And obviously the sustainability that you highlighted with the video is absolutely fantastic, and especially all the work that you guys do within the organization. So thank you very much for sharing that and for walking us through some of the projects, because that obviously gives us, all of us, more of a picture of everything that you guys do, because obviously we're not necessarily all in your shoes, or we're not all there doing it as you are. So it's helpful for us to see all the wonderful things that you guys do, and it also brings to life the projects, right? Because just by an image or a description alone, it's very difficult to sort of gain all the information that's there in that image. And obviously we do these WindowsWear Lives to bring the people, bring the companies, and bring the projects to life. And I think you did a fantastic job doing that with us this afternoon. We've got about 5 or 10 more minutes. We're gonna open it up for questions. If anyone has any questions, comments, feedback, feel free to chime in. If you're on Instagram Live, Facebook Live, you can message them. If you're part of this Zoom call, you can just unmute yourself. You can also chat it, and we'll just take a few moments to open it up for anyone that would like to respond in any way. Look, I've got a question just to kick it off. I mean, talk to us about that, right? Obviously, you've got Chanel, very detailed. Obviously, we know we all know them, and then you've got, you know, all the other ranges, including inclusiveness and you know, the Puma. Like, it seems mind-boggling to me. Are there different teams? Are there different, you know, people set up for different divisions or different styles, or it's all the same team doing, you know, working for all the clients? I'm just curious how you guys, you know, execute it from your perspective, all this, you know, all these different types of ranges and sizes and makes and models.
Each customer gets a dedicated project manager. So there's an internal project manager. They work quite closely with the customer. So there's a real relationship that's formed there. So they are the customer's eyes and ears internally. So it really is a case of we try and build a team around each individual customer depending on what they need. So if we take one customer that has a very clear view of what their mannequins are, the internal project manager will make sure that they work with the sculptors. So what they'll do is they'll sit down with the sculptors might sketch a few different poses, the customer will sign everything off, and then we'll actually start to make and develop that. Other people want to work more as 3D. So what we'll also then do is we'll basically look at it as a 3D, and we'll build a 3D model. We have 3D printers on site, so we can print off a small scale 3D model. People can then have a look at it, sign it off, and make sure that it's happy, or make sure that it's good. The really good thing about doing that, though, is we've got our sculptors on site, so we can make sure that the anatomy of that pose works. So it's not twisted uncontrollably, or it looks strange. Because the one thing that we don't want to do is have the mannequin take over the product, as I said earlier. It's about the mannequin supporting the product to sell that product to best effect. So yeah, there's different teams for different customers. I mean, the production unit's the production unit. They work through that. The creative unit's a very different unit. And what we'll do is we'll put different sculptors, because our customers get to like the way certain sculptors work. And if they do, that's fine. So they'll work with the sculptors. So we'll have different sculptors for different customers. We'll have different teams that work with different customers, but it's set up for that customer. The customer's in the middle of everything that we do. So they're always the one that we refer back to. They're always the one that basically will dictate how we develop our internal process for them. So whether it be 3D, whether it be an adaptation of an existing pose with different arms, then we'll set it up so that it happens quickly for them and seamlessly. The one thing we want to do is make sure that they don't have to worry. And it's amazing how many of our customers actually say, once they understand how we work and they start working with us, that come back and say, that was an absolute pleasure. And I've got to say that it's our people that make it. It's the people in Vilnius, they all speak English, or the vast majority of them speak English. All the project managers speak excellent English. It's about understanding what the customer wants and being able to deliver on that, but also question. So we question a lot. We like to ask questions. We like to be asked questions. So if anybody's got any, please ask.
Here's one from the chat, Jolene. Have you seen any trends creating mannequins sustainably? Any repurposed materials more popular than others?
Everybody talks about it. I mean, if you go to any of our competitors' mannequin sites, they'll all tell you about it. The vast majority of recycled material, there's two options, or there's two ways of looking at it. You have the plastic side, and the plastic's becoming much more recyclable and much more sustainable. So you can get them from different sources, as I've explained about the way that we work. You then have what people call the bio side, or the bio resin side. So people are moving away from fiberglass. Fiberglass is a cheap material. It's a cheap way of making mannequins, but it's a dirty way of making mannequins. It's not good on the environment. It's not good on the people that are making it. And it's just not a very nice material to work with. So what people are trying to do is use the same process where it's called lamination, where you use a mold and then you laminate different materials. So whether it's a plant-based material like jute, hessian, bamboo, agave, and then they use a bio resin, which is normally a cornstarch, or it can be a soya-based oil. They then try and make their mannequins from that. But the one thing that a lot of people don't tell you when they start talking about bioresins and vegetable matter is that the bioresins are not 100% bioresin. They still have to mix them with petroleum-based resin. That the vegetable medium that they use isn't always suitable in 100% form, so they have to still use glass fiber. So what they're giving people is a bit of a mixed message, but sustainability has to be the driving force for mannequin suppliers. We're one of the very few customers, or one of the very few manufacturers out there who are trying to drive this forward. We want to give our customers products that are of the highest quality, but at the same time are 100% recyclable. And I had a very long conversation with an Italian company the other day who were asking, can you prove that it's recyclable? I said, come to the factory. You can see everything that we do. It's all open book. You can see how we work. You can see what we do. As soon as we can get flights going again, and I can leave the UK without being quarantined for 3.5 months when I come back, we're going to get together. Because the idea is we want to show people, we want to shout from the rooftops about what we do. It's what people are doing. It's what retailers are doing. So you have to be a sustainable, recyclable producer. You have to think about the environment, which is why plastic bank's so important to us. And what we're doing at the moment is there'll be pictures, hopefully, John, next month. We've got an installation that's going ahead in France for quite a large sportswear company. And they wanted a recyclable mannequin, but it had to go one stage further. They wanted to show bits within that mannequin to try and show people that it was even more recyclable, or how we made it. So it's a raw mannequin with bits in it to show that it's recycled. And that's going to go live, I believe, early part of July. So
that's very cool.
We'll put it on the website and we'll start to show people what else we can do.
Look, we love project images on our website, so we're going to be very happy once it's live and once we can announce it, once obviously it's out there. So we've got a very interesting question from Instagram. I think kind of dovetailing Jolene's question here. Obviously, Jolene's question was about sustainability. This one is more about diversity. So, you had mentioned about the inclusive range of mannequins. Is there such a thing of a diversity range of mannequins? I imagine that question being like different races, ethnicities, etc. Is that something that you do? Is that something that you've thought of? Is that something that you've seen? Just talk to us about that concept, just generally.
Diversity drove the inclusives. It's about skin tone, it's about culture, it's about body shape, and it's about body confidence. So when we talked to the designer who was doing this, we basically spent a lot of time majoring on the diversity side. We were launching it at EuroShop 2020. So what we wanted to do is to be able to launch it with a stylized or an egghead. We wanted to launch it to show people what our thinking was. What we're now subsequently doing is we're making a new range of heads, which will be coming out shortly, which is about diversity. So it's about adding culture to the inclusives. So not only then are you talking about different body styles and skin colors, you're talking about facial features, you're talking about hairstyles, and that's the next stage that we want to go to. So the inclusives was driven by diversity. It was the speed of development that we wanted to get it out for 2020, or for February for 2020. But now it's not been forgotten, and we're working quite hard with the sculptors to make sure that we develop a range of heads that we can then start to use with the inclusives. But not only with the inclusives, we're quite hot on doing things that are interchangeable. So the heads should be able to work with different mannequin ranges. So if you see Jean, the head should be able to work with Jean. It should be able to work with Max. It should be able to work with Stella. So what we're trying to do is introduce a diversity element into that. We work very hard at trying to get the skin tones right. Rootstein had a huge range of wonderful skin tones, and they're a brilliant business. They were way ahead of their time at that stage. What we've done is just try and take that, and we've worked quite closely with a lot of different cultures or sort of cultural ambassadors within the business and said, is this sort of reflective of your skin tone? Because the last thing you want is something that you think is reflective that's not. And what we don't want to do is alienate the people out there and the different cultures out there. So we're working quite closely with that. So diversity has driven us in respect to what we're doing.
That makes a lot of sense. We've got 2 more minutes. If anyone has any, oh, whoa, okay, here we go. So Jolene, I love the work that you do with Classic Bank. It's so important to include the economic advancement of third world countries in the conversation. Thank you for being a brand that understands sustainability and environmental consciousness, which is very important. And it's been a great chat. I agree. I think highlighting that Plastic Bank video was very eye-opening, because just even to describe it in words is kind of difficult to even understand, but then obviously seeing it. We've got another question from Instagram here. Jackson Guillermo, I know it may sound weird, but does the Kardashian phenomenon, has it affected proportion or shape of any of your mannequins that may have been ordered?
We've got brands that are always looking at bigger mannequins. They always want different shapes. It's funny, about 3 or 4 years ago, I was asked to try and do a range that mimicked the Kardashians. People may know the Misguided brand. I was very fortunate at the time to be working with them, and the team that I was heading up developed the mannequins for Misguided. And she did the VM manager there was fantastic. And she did a Winnie Harlow. I don't know if anybody's seen it. You need to go online and look at the Misguided mannequins. She did something, the skin condition that Winnie Harlow has. She did a whole sort of display based around that skin condition. She did a whole range about blemishes and skin blemishes, all about body confidence. We're always asked about it, and we'll develop it for that. If you look at the inclusives, the first picture of the girl that you can see with the check coat on, the dog tooth check coat on, she's a size 22 UK. She is a big girl, but she is a very curvy girl. So the Kardashians are here today, probably gone tomorrow. If you look at Kim, she's not got the same figure that she had 3 years ago. She seems to be a lot thinner. But the curviness and the body confidence is very much part of what we do. We only make mannequins to reflect what society wants and what our retailers want. Our customers are making clothes for what their customers want. If we're not echoing that and we're not supplying them with solutions for that, then we're not doing our jobs. So we work hard with them to do that. But the inclusives was very much part of that. The lifestyle's also bigger than normal. I taught UK size. She's about a size 10, size 12 UK, because we didn't want another skinny mannequin. I've got 2 girls. I've got an 18 and a 22-year-old who keep going on at me about skinniness. They don't want to see unreflective mannequins in the market, in the windows. We listen to our customers. We deliver what they want. So yeah, it does drive us.
Amazing, and I think that's a great place to end. And as I mentioned to Bob before we joined everyone else, this is not the last time that we're doing this with you. And we'd love to invite you back, showcase the latest projects that you've done. And yeah, I mean, one of your daughters helped with the graphic that you did, and she already has an internship at WindowsWear if she needs one. So yeah. Thank you.
Everybody, sorry, John. I was just going to say, I hope everybody's enjoyed it.
I think it's
worthwhile, and I hope it's shown you a different side to mannequins. It's a case of we offer an alternative route to China, but we offer one that is socially aware and socially conscious.
Thank you, Bob, for sharing that, and thank you, everyone. And we'll see everyone soon. Take care. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you. See you all later. Bye.